And welcome in, everybody, to the YSN Power Hour, proudly powered by Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley with you. Excited to be with you on this Tuesday. Once again, just a recap, it's football season, it's fall sports season, and it's all live right here on YSN. Thanks for joining us on this very special edition of the YSN Power Hour. I promised you that we've got some big news, and boy, oh boy, do we have it. We've got a couple bits of big news. One of them, a lot of people have guessed. I guess the cat has been let out of the bag, and enough people kind of put the two and two together, so to speak. So we were pushing for a 3 o'clock. I don't know, a time frame, and I'm still refreshing and stuff like that. So let me tell you what it is. Let me just break it down for you, because we are deadline driven, and I wanted this great reveal. I wanted this like peek behind the curtain, like here it is, like ta-da! And I just I just want that one moment. I want that, like Andy in The Office. I want that that gotcha moment. Like, we did it, and we're not gonna get it. We're not gonna get it. So let me break this down. The big news that we've been kind of trying to keep tight-lipped about is there is going to be a brand new YSN website, and it's again supposed to launch in the next. It's supposed to launch 10 minutes ago. It might be launched on your browser right now, but I can't see it. A big thanks to Nick Miller over at iSynergy and Steve Cross and the whole team over there for allowing us to have the faith to put our baby YSN in their hands. And let me tell you what you can expect. And you'll have to let me know. And if you're out there and you're refreshing, please let me know if you see it live before I do. It's going to be a new experience. Now, a lot of the features are going to be the same, right? We like what we do a lot of the time, but we wanted to make sure, and iSynergy and Nick did a great job of making sure it's user friendly, it's exciting, it's easy to operate, it's faster, it's not clunky. There were a lot of things on the back end of the website, and you're talking to a guy that like, this has been not my forte of developing a website. There were a lot of bullets and band-aids on the back end of that website that we were able to do. And a lot of you will point to the fact of week one, a lot of times, and especially during COVID year, if you remember that nightmare, our website would crash. I mean, when you have 70,000 people at one time trying to go to your website, a lot of websites, not only in this area, this region, the state, probably could not maintain that, and they would crash. And most people saw that as a bad thing. Obviously, it's not ideal. It's not ideal, but we provide a service that people want. And when it crashes like that, yeah, it stinks. It sucks. It's unfortunate. It drives me crazy, but it just makes us want to get better. And being able to go on offense, like we talked about a few days ago, we're going on offense. This is the first time we've been on offense since the inception of the company, and putting a lot of time and resources into the new ysnlive.com is going to give us some features that we've never seen before. One of them being the most exciting feature is every single blog post, every single story that we've ever written will be now featured on their own webpage due to tagging and things of that nature. So if you're a Boardman fan, every single Boardman post we've ever done that was tagged Boardman will be on ysnlive.com/Boardman. If you're a Canfield fan, the same thing, ysnlive.com/Canfield, going back to the very first story that we ever did. And as someone who, this is and I'll say this again, this is my dream come true, and I live it every day. Are there days that it's tougher than others? 100%. But we're not going to bed wondering if we're still in business anymore in the morning. We're waking up because we have the support of the community, and we have support of great developers like Nick Miller, and we have the support of great people to build this thing up. And the new YSN website is going to be awesome. Being able to be the officially the top website for sports in not only this area, but I think in the country. Load times faster than a half a second to get to from game to game, which is going to make some people's jobs a little bit easier. A guy that we're going to bring on here in a couple minutes, that it's a surprise, and I'm excited to bring him in. But to finish my thought on the new website, ladies and gentlemen, it's a new era at YSN. Being able to get places faster. The one thing we did fix that we had a lot of feedback on was the teams page, that sometimes you couldn't get to your team at the bottom. Now it's going to be a big fat menu that you can see and easily get to on ysnlive.com/teams. So yeah, Sammy saying this is going to be the biggest year ever. He's not joking. He's not joking. We'll get to some of the other news in a little bit, but a guy that I do not want to put on the back burner because he never should be there. My idol, the guy that I look up to so very, very much, Mr. Michael Ackelson. Mike, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How are you doing today? You said it's football week. I had to call.
I knew you were going to start with that. I knew it. Mike, of course, is the Valley legend for his work at 21 WFMJ for so many years, and then was the first call I had when we wanted to do Audible Call. And Mike means more than just. Sammy's chiming in. I think Sammy wants to be in here. You might be Sammy's idol as well, Mike. He's saying Audible Call in the house.
We can let Sammy in. I love Sammy.
Mike, this is going to be season 4 for the Audible
Call.
Does
that work better?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Season 4 for the Audible Call. Something that we came up with duct tape, chicken wire, and some straw, I think. And here it is now, one of the most watched things on Friday night. What's your excitement level for this year in football, and specifically to watch all these games on the Audible Call?
First off, I'm a kid in a candy store every Friday night. Like, I honestly just love it because you guys cover one game, most of the crews. I get to see every game. I get to see all the action. We can rewind touchdowns. We can see them live, interceptions, key plays in games. Like, everything just breaks down in front of us, and that's exciting. And then, like, the first week, it's just that anticipation, like, hey, football's back, here we go. And you kind of get to see the first team out and like, okay, hey, they won. But as the season builds, by week 4 or 5, which teams are serious, which teams are kind of still finding their way, and which teams are going, man, I wish this was week 10 already. But that's the interesting thing, because so much can happen over a 10-week season. You can have rain one week that totally evens the playing field for a big underdog. And that's what I love about this. Like, it gives me an opportunity to still just get back and watch football. Like, I love it. And then now you're
You there?
Still there, buddy? Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I think you got a bad connection there, brother.
Yeah. But I am pumped. Like, I can't wait to see the new digs that I'm going to be in Friday night.
You, my friend, are in for a nice surprise, because you have your pick of the litter, is from what I hear. Is you can be on the far side where you've got 6 TVs around you at all times, and of course your handy dandy iPad. Or I was told we have the option of going into the swing suites, and you can have a big game behind you at all times, with some luxurious couches and things around you. So listen, the world is your oyster, my friend, and deservedly so.
Well, and here's the great thing about it. We'll just see how it's playing out, and we'll just make an audible call. We're either going to be in front of 6 monitors, or we're going to be sitting on some couches relaxing while we do this. I always got to dig. I'm always promoting audible call. Like, you'll see a lot of texts from me. You'll see a lot of my tweets coming out on Twitter, a lot of my things on Facebook. Right now, the AC becomes primary for me.
I love it, man. I love it. I know you're not going to be able to watch or have this game in person on the Audible Call, but to be able to watch Steubenville and Ursuline this week, two historically powerhouse programs. Steubenville doing something they don't typically do, and that's going on the road. As a guy who's known the history of this area for as long as you have, almost 3 decades, over 3 decades now.
Over
Um,
3 decades.
when you hear Ursuline versus Steubenville, a game like that, what does it mean to you? What does it do for you?
First off, it gets the juices pumping, and especially week one, because right out of the box, now each team's got to come with their absolute A game, because if they're not ready to go, the other team is going to absolutely destroy them. So you know what it's all about in Steubenville. You definitely know what it's all about at Ursuline High School. And Dan Reardon has probably had this thing circled for 8 months, and everything has been not Cardinal Mooney right now. They're on the back burner. It's been Steubenville, because this is a statewide powerhouse game right out of the gates for these two.
Do you think that when you have a game like that right out of the gates, it's actually easier? Because if it was, let's say, Team X week one and then Steubenville week two, do you think people would be peaking towards that team would be peaking towards week two already?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, you can't look past your week one opponent when it's Steubenville, and vice versa. Steubenville all year, they've probably been like, wow, we got Ursuline. This team is pretty good. They got a lot coming back. And I know for a fact that when I looked at some of the things, Ursuline's one of them teams that they are probably making some plans to make a pretty deep run this year. So you get out of this one, you win, you are automatically banking those key computer points that you want to have in your back pocket.
So when you are in here and you're doing audible call, and obviously here from the Columbiana location at Athletics this year, what are some of the things that people don't see necessarily on the audible call? Maybe like during breaks and behind these scenes action that you want to open up the curtain to everybody, or maybe good stuff.
What I really like is just our bantering, our interaction. Like, B and Anthony, for years, I'd be like, where are we going? What are we doing? Those are things when we take a little commercial break, and they'll say this. When it's halftime, we regroup, like, which games do we want to focus on? Like, that's all plotted out. It's just not done fly by the seat of your pants. While most of the show appears to be that way, we kind of try to calculate what our night's going to be like, and we can tell usually very early on what's going on. Like, if Canfield's playing Poland and Poland jumps out to a 28-0 lead, or vice versa, you automatically know you might not go to that game in the second half. So what's my big thing? I got to tell the people, hey, you're more than welcome to watch this on YSN, but if you stick with us, you've probably seen the last of them for tonight. We want to go to the Garrettsville Garfield Warren JFK game that is going right down to the wire. We're going to spend more time on that. And I know people, we get a few messages like, where's the Canfield game? Where's the West Branch game? Hey, look, they're up 42-0. They've already done their damage. We know week one, they got a W sitting by them. But that other game that's 7-7 deep into the third, early fourth, and the team's driving, that's where you want to be. That's where the action is. And we're just trying to give that to everybody. And probably my favorite two guys are Radar and Scotty. And I know I cannot wait for Scotty Mincher and Radar Friday night to see them, because it's a bro fest. Let's put it
Yep.
that way. And it's just great. Like, I'll walk in, and I haven't seen Scotty in 8 months, but this will be the first words out of his mouth. Mike, your Steelers suck. That's exactly what he's going to say to me. And I'm okay with that, because I can drive right back to him. Like, when Cleveland wins something, tell me what's going on there, Scotty. I'll listen to you then. It's just those little bantering. And we do that all throughout the night. I wish people could, I would love for you to, like, just put a hidden camera on us one night, and people aren't seeing what we're actually doing live, but seeing all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And my other favorite part was Brian, who works his tail off. He would go and get pizza for the crew. If you guys would see how many people would get up and leave their game in the middle of a touchdown drive because they're going to get hot pizza, it's hilarious.
Oh my goodness. You got me excited now, man. It's they really are the stories of the year. Obviously, we do our job and cover the game, but the stories behind the scenes are always some of the best. And my question, the big one for me, and I don't think I've ever asked you this one. you call me throughout the year, and I know we're going to talk about football. Like in March, we're talking about football, like gearing up for this. When do you actually like? Is there a switch that turns off for football and turns back on? When does it turn off, and where does it turn on?
Usually, my football switch turns off around the end of the Super Bowl, and it's maybe 2 months. But then all of a sudden, there's free agency. There's the draft. If anybody ever wants to be a draft geek, you need to watch me. I probably look at mock drafts like a crazy guy throughout the winter. And I've already looked at what potentially could be out there next year. That's how dedicated I am to just the sport of football. But I don't look at it just for the pros. I'm a college guy. I'm a big high school guy. So I'm looking like, did anybody transfer? What's coming back? Probably about April, my switch comes back on. A little slow. I like to get a little regenerated. And then you'll know this one for a fact and you'll love it. What do I always text you in May that makes you kind of throw up in your mouth?
Only what, 4 months till football season,
Yeah.
or 3 months to
Yeah, every month. And from that point on, when I talk to you, hey man, what are we going to do different? What can we do? How can we push the envelope further? And you just look at me like, I thought you were retired.
Never retired. And we can't appreciate you enough, man. Last question for you. Is there any team that's on your radar or maybe off your radar that you think might be fun to watch this year for better or just for the engaging games?
I think Springfield's going to have a big bounce back year. I want to see how South Range and Canfield handle being defending state champs because the bullseye is big on their backs. And it won't matter what their record is. People are going to come after them this year. Yep. They're the team that, got to hoist the trophies last year. So I want to see how they perform under those circumstances now, knowing, and they got great coaching staffs. So that they're going to be ready for this. And when I look at some other things, I'm like, Liberty, very interesting team for me. I want to see how they're going to shake out. What's Springfield going to be back? I think they're going to be good. Where's United going to be? United's one of those quiet organizational teams that just seems to always be good. Beaver Local, where are they going to be? They always seem to find that extra gear. Salem, they've been really good the last 3 to 4 years. Are they still going to be that good this year? Those are questions that I can't wait to see answered and see what player that was waiting in line next to step up for those schools.
Mike Ackelson, the legend forever. And one day we'll put the statue up of you right here at the YSN studios in athletics, man. Thank you so much for jumping on. I know you're busy, especially this time of year, doing all your mock drafts and watching all these YSN games. Appreciate you hopping on and giving us some insight for what's going to happen on Friday, brother. Can't wait to see you.
Cannot wait to see you guys. And if you need me around Thursday, just give me a holler.
I'll never turn you down. You know that.
I know.
You know that from experience. Mike Ackelson, thanks you, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, we'll see you.
There he goes. The GOAT, the guy forever. And I know you've probably heard this story before, but when I called Mike with this idea for YSN, he was one of the biggest advocates for it. And when I called again and said, hey, I've got this idea for it, was stop me in my tracks. He's in. Whatever it is, he's in. And once again, he will be the voice once for always. He's got that job. I think he knows until he says thanks, but no thanks. And I think we all know Mike well enough to know that that's probably not going to happen. He loves sports more than even me most days. And that's saying something. So thanks to the GOAT for coming on, Mike Ackelson. You can catch him on the Audible Call this Friday, brought to you by WRS. Everything starts about, I'm going to say 6:55 typically. We list it for 7:00, but 6:55 is usually when we go on the air, pay the bills, and then Mike's off and running with the Mikeettes. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to check on the status of ysnlive.com and give you some more features that we're excited about, and another breaking news that you're going to have on the Power Hour before you get it anywhere else, even on ysnlive.com. Back after this in just a little bit on the network.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience, WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Nestled here in the beauty and splendor of Mill Creek Metro Parks are two of America's best golf courses, as selected by Golf Week magazine. Ranked number 9 in Ohio by TripAdvisor. Come play like a pro on these award-winning Donald Ross-designed courses. Enjoy a round with your kids and unwind with your favorite food and drinks in the grill room. For championship golf, look no further than your backyard. Mill Creek Golf Course.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour, powered by Toyota of Warren. Thanks again to Tino and everybody out there for making our lives a little easier when we're looking for our next car or truck or SUV, I guess is the three things. I have a truck, a Toyota Tundra that has YSN really big on the side. That's I've been told is pretty cool, and I think it's pretty cool too. It's like a spaceship inside. So if you're looking to drive a spaceship or something along those lines, or have a little futuristic opportunity, go on over to our friends at Toyota of Warren. Tina will hook you up like you wouldn't believe. All right, so back to ysnlive.com. Again, a big launch for ysnlive.com today. For the first time in 7 years, we are making a big change, and a change that, again, we put a lot of time, resources in, both on the YSN side as well as the Synergy side. Nick Miller, the artiste behind the new webpage, ysnlive.com. We got a sneak peek last week, and we're blown away. Absolutely blown away by all the things, and the foundation has been rebuilt at YSN. So fingers crossed, we're hoping for no crashes and things of that nature. But you might have noticed the last 24 hours or so, the site's been a little bit slower. And not a whole lot of content going out, but that's about to change when I want to say, I'm going to try to use the correct terminology, when all the migration is complete from one site to the other. And I think you're going to like it. And we want you to beat it up a little bit. We want you to tell us, and as always, give us your feedback. If it's a better experience, if there are some things that maybe you liked about the old site or didn't like about the old site that we can incorporate on the new site, please let us know. That's one of the biggest things for us that we are excited to be able to provide you, because after all, it's not named Your Sports, nor let's try that again. It's not named Your Sports Network for no reason. It really is something we want you to be proud of as well. And certainly we are very proud of how far things have come, and the potential and the drive for how things can go in the future. And none of that is more prevalent than last night. And ladies and gentlemen, if you missed the Sparty Party over at Double Bogeys and the Bunker, you missed a lot. You missed a lot of interviews. You missed a lot of insight and a good time and just good content based around the Boardman Spartans and Marco Marinucci is doing a phenomenal job over there. He and Jeff Hamilton who is the obviously the athletic director and assistant athletic director, respectively, just do an incredible job of bringing the attention to their student athletes. Because, as Marco said to kind of close out the show last night, it's great wins and losses, and everybody wants a state championship, and that's all fun and dandy. But it's about the memories, and it's about the moments along the way, and the friendships that you create and you build, and that is pretty much lockstep with what we try to do here at YSN. So while we get excited for wins and in championships, don't get us wrong. It's about creating memories and creating those opportunities to kind of capture moments forever in an area and a vertical, if you will, that didn't have it 7 years ago. And what I can tell you is we're often replicated but never duplicated. And it's one of those things, like there's going to be a bunch of knockoffs. There's going to be a bunch of people, and they see themselves as competition to us. We're in competition with ourselves. That's what it is. And I heard that a lot last night, especially when you're talking to golfers and tennis players. And, they said they're in competition with themselves. And I think we all are to some degree. But especially in business, like nobody does what we do, and nobody, it's you against you. And there's a lot of people that will jump in and say, well, that's our competition. You can't do this. You can't advertise with them. You can't. That's fine. At the end of the day, we're okay. We'll make it work. There's plenty of people that do believe in us. In fact, we've just crossed the 9 million view threshold for 2023. So we anticipate that's going to be a lot more, especially with the brand new website and the opportunity to go from game to game faster than ever before. And, it'll be very similar to changing channels as opposed to reloading your web page. Now, here's the caveat. I'm going to let you know, as a tech guy that loves technology, loves sports, and loves the blending of the two, I'm going to let you know that a lot of this stuff is dependent on your internet as well. So we can talk about our stuff all day and be excited about it. And we are, don't get me wrong. But if you're still on dial-up internet, you're probably not going to experience the less than half a second it takes to get from one site to the next. I'm just going to be honest with you. So if you're out there and you're on America Online, first off, you've got mail. And secondly, you're probably not going to get those high speeds. So before we get nasty emails about, the spinning wheel of death or whatever it is, make sure that you understand that you have a piece of this, a variable in this as well. When it comes down to, do you have solid internet? And to get that a great experience and the great UI and UX that we're bringing to you here with the new website launch. So that's kind of where the rubber meets the road. I'm not trying to pass the buck, just trying to make you aware of kind of how things are going. So from that standpoint, we have some really, really big news. Boardman last night, 2 hours of content, which we're going to be cutting up, chopping up, and making into a nice salad for you and putting on our website. And then we need a breaking news graphic. Why do we not? We have everything but a breaking news graphic on here. Can I even, there's nothing I can even use for a breaking news graphic. Here, let's try this. Here we go. See, that wasn't good, but I mean, that's the best we're going to get for now, I guess, until I can play around and find a breaking news graphic. All right, so we got some breaking news, something that's been in development for a long time, and something I'm very excited about, something like very, very excited about. So everybody knows, and the saying is, you can always go home again, right? And for anybody who knows, and this might be a little bit longer story than I want to tell, but anybody that knows me knows that, my home is in East Palestine. I've been there for my entire life. And the only time I've ever gone away from East Palestine is when I went to, oh, here we go. We got some breaking news all of a sudden again. Ben Hoda's walk-off 3-run home run beat Kavina 3-1. They play Japan at 7:30. Awesome. Lost to Japan 6-2 this morning. So Ben Otis, who was on this show not even a week ago, is the hero, man. And that Youngstown team shows everything that we thought they would. I mean, they are grit city, determined and bound. So kudos to them. And Ben, congratulations, buddy, on an unbelievable walk-off 3-run jack. We're proud of you. We're proud of you. The big fella strikes again. Okay, so switching back. Dude, there's so much going on right now. My mind a mile a minute. Thanks, Steve, for the update. Appreciate you. So breaking news, you can always go home again. For those who know me again, East Palestine, everybody knows that by now. The world knows that. But I graduated, went to Ohio Northern for a year, came back, transferred to Westminster College. Westminster College has a place that in my heart that is near and dear, and often I will beat the drum for that college, that institution, because of what it meant to the rest of my life. I met my wife there. I got a great education, from Westminster College in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. I learned a lot about my broadcasting there. There were opportunities there that I could never pay for, that I was given and awarded. So since YSN has started, and I've had a great advocate in Dr. David Barner this entire time, and even further down the line, Joe Underko, who is the commissioner of the President's Athletic Conference, having conversations with them. We had a deal in place to help with the streaming in some capacity of the President's Athletic Conference, and just nothing materialized, which, it happens, right? Sometimes deals just fall apart, and that's okay. But it bugged me more than anything because I knew that there was an opportunity there to not only help student athletes who now more than ever are heading over to Division III colleges like Westminster, like Mount Union, like Washington and Jefferson, like all these schools, right? But it's a school that means a lot to me for a lot of different reasons. And as of today, and as of a couple days ago, there's an agreement in place that we will be simulcasting streams from the Westminster Cable Network and Westminster College right here on YSN. And what does that mean? That means not only will the possibility that student athletes that are graduating and going to play at the next level with the Titans, will they be streamed on our network, so you'll be able to stay in touch with them. But it also means that my college, the institution of choice for yours truly, is full circle coming home to be on the network that we've created. And the reason that it's here is because they created the person, the individual that created the beast that is YSN. So when you look at that, it's kind of a really, really, really cool thing that's going on right now. I'm super excited to make that announcement, something that I've had to really, really bite my lip about. Oh, thank you, Shannon. I appreciate you. And you as well, Ty. I appreciate that very, very much. It was an emotional thing for me, and probably more so than it should have been. But we have so much support. Again, Dr. David Barner, we called him Dr. B. He's been supportive so much. Michael Janaki, who everybody knows, the voice of West Branch, he's a proud Westminster guy, and I'm excited for him to be able to kind of lead by example there, and more so than just the student athletes that are locally here getting out and being able to follow them. The broadcasters from Westminster to be able to broadcast on YSN, and to have what again, something very important to me, very special to me, featured on our network, and everything comes full circle, to give them a little bit more of a flagpole, to give them a little bit more reach than maybe they had before. It's very important. I believe in the education that I received there, and this is not a paid advertisement. Maybe someday, but it's I believe in the education I received there. I believe in what they're doing, both on the field and off the field. Um, and I think it's important to know that just because it's a Division III college does not mean that you should shut the door on it. Because at the end of the day, why it's really cool to go to D1 and keep your dreams up and accomplish those dreams of the probability of being drafted or playing at the next level and then the next level. That's great, and we're all for that. And there's nobody that's happier than yours truly if that happens. The odds are against you, and it's important just in every athlete's career that there is an education behind them, and it's a good education that they get behind them. So when we partner with colleges the way we do with Youngstown State and now Westminster College, it has to be a good fit, and there has to be some academic prowess to it. And I'd be, I'm not the smartest person there is. I'm a terrible test taker, but the real hands-on experience that I got at Westminster and being able to broadcast literally starting when I got there was incredible. And the amount of pride that I have for that school and graduating from that school and being able to tell everybody that I was a Titan, forever a Titan, and that I'm a WC graduate. It's now more than ever, my cup runneth over. So big news, big news. Really excited for that. So really, really amped up from that side. We're going to check on this. Sean Ramey says, being a native of the Valley and Trumbull that lives in Columbus, I'm happy that it's a show that I can tune into talking about football in that part of Northeast Ohio. Go Harding Raiders. Hey, appreciate you, Sean, to be able to check it. Sorry we can't cover Harding a little more. We're still trying to work on that deal a little bit. And hopefully someday we're able to crack the egg on that and make an omelet out of it. But, we appreciate the support. We certainly do. And that stuff has been rushing in all day today, that kind of stuff. What is Ty saying now? Come home, Harding. So if you, and most people that watch this show are pretty up to date on social media. So we had a social media post that I put out earlier today. It was a little bit sad, a little bit, kind of, we had to part ways with one of our schools, which is the first time that we've ever had to officially do that. And while it's sad, it's also very, to look back on kind of how things went. I've never been more proud. I really haven't. There's a lot of politics that go into this sometimes. And I think people understand that. There's a lot of politics that go into business. There's a lot of politics that go into, schools and school boards and all that stuff. And being a superintendent, there's politics everywhere. Let's just face it. There's politics everywhere. Somebody cannot like you because of the color shoes you wear, or the color shirt you put on that day. What I'm trying to get to is, for the past 3 years, since 2020, we have been the home of Louisville Leopard Athletics. And I've been incredibly proud to be that home for them, just as I am incredibly proud to be the home for the other 67 high schools and now 2 colleges and over 20 organizations in the youth space. It's important for me to know and understand that when somebody leaves what we do, it's not because of something that we could have done better. And I think that's where I'm at peace with this decision of Louisville not renewing the contract. And a lot of it had to do with another media company that was local to Louisville getting a chance. And I'm okay with that. I'm not in competition with anybody but us. And I'm at peace with this decision because I know what we can do and what we're capable of. And unfortunately and this is my personal opinion, YSN has nothing to do with this. Unfortunately for the Louisville community, I think you're going to lose something very, very vital. As an independent school, as a school that's looking for people in schools to connect with, and Louisville's in a tough spot, right? Because they're in Stark County, but they're kind of the low man on the totem pole because they're just in Stark County. Like many of our schools, they don't have that media that follows them like every beat of the day, like YSN did and does. We had over 200 live events for Louisville in 3 years. We had over 1 million views of Louisville in 3 years. That's a lot. It tells me that the community wants it and the community appreciates it. And we hired Louisville community members and we promoted Louisville athletics. We used Louisville student athletes. And now it's one of those situations where unfortunately we're not going to hurt because of it. I'm sure Louisville High School will not feel like the administration is hurting because of it, but the student athletes, the coaches, and the community as a whole will. Because there's going to be a void, and I challenge the new media that's coming in, and this is not a threat, this is a challenge. I challenge you to do what we did, the way that we did it, as much as we did it, for the reasons that we did it. That's the challenge. And I'm throwing down the gauntlet because at the end of the day, I know it's impossible for you to do. And the people that will suffer will be the student athletes, will be the coaches, will be those communities, that community that makes up Louisville, that is a very prideful community. A community that is like going to a big high school with that little high school feel, right? That hometown feel. I remember sitting with Terry Horn, the athletic director, the first time that I went there, and we were talking about YSN being a part of Louisville and vice versa. And I remember saying to her, this is what everybody dreams of going to high school. This is how I remember my high school being made up. So much school pride. The windows are painted at the Wendy's. You have, everybody has their Louisville banners out. The blue runs deep in Louisville. There's no doubt about it. And then when the news came out, I got a phone call today, and it was, because this conversation has been going on for a little bit now, and it's political, and that's okay. But as in any bit of politics, right? Sometimes you vote for the wrong guy. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. Sometimes you're sold a bill of goods that is not what that team or that person or that particular, I don't know, the group is capable of. And I'm not taking anything away from this new media. I encourage them. I look forward to watching and keeping an eye on Louisville, because I think that we'll know before too long how things wrap up there. I think I already know the answer, how that's going to go. And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Thank you, Louisville. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting us into your homes, letting us into your devices, for accepting us as one of yours, for being we're talking MVPs. Will Jancic was the MVP for YSN. You've got all-stars that we've seen come through. Brian Warner, the baseball coach, has been one of the biggest advocates for us and what we do, and that memorable run a couple years ago. It sucks. It's never fun to say goodbye, right? But knowing that we did our best and we did really well, and we did really well by who we did well by is it makes it a little bit easier for us. It really does. And I think that having that moment where you got to look in the mirror and realize that what you're giving up is a service that provides you more than just $100, every quarter for a bookmark, right? It's along the lines of, what do you give that to our kids that in our communities and our coaches that is invaluable, that is irreplaceable. That's the stuff. That's where the investment is. That's what you're gonna. I think any school that looks at YSN and says, where do we really see the value? Any school is going to tell you that. When you have a night like last night in Boardman at double bogeys, and this is not an exaggerated number, Donnie Riccatelli, I owe you everything for being that guy always. But looking out into the crowd and seeing over 300 people there for what we were putting the show on for. That's impressive. And I can't tell you how many kids I looked to my left and said, hey, this is really cool. They're here for you, not for us, right? We're just a means. We're a platform. They're here for you. And that's what it's about. Our business has been predicated on growing and scaling by reinvesting in our communities, reinvesting in ourselves, right? And growing together. Somewhere along the line, people get it twisted that it's about them and the egos get involved and they start calling people out and, this and that and the other. And listen, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm happy to have conversations and any are welcome on this show to discuss it. But the end goal for us has always been the same. It's always about lifting up the student athletes, the coaches, and the communities. That's always been our goal here at YSN. Hands down, bar none. That's the goal. When you get into the weeds a little bit and you make it about yourself, that's when you're going to lose people. That's when you're going to lose people. That's why when this thing that we call Your Sports Network kicks off on Thursday, will we make mistakes? Probably. Right? We'll laugh at them. We'll get mad about them, but we'll make it better for next time because it's not making it better for us. It's making it better for you. We want to be better for you. We have a high level that we have to look at when you look at these championship caliber athletes, that we want to bring them championship caliber moments, and we don't want to miss it, and we don't want to mess it up because those moments are fleeting, and when they're gone, they're gone. And I can't tell you, and I'm looking at everybody in Louisville, I'm looking at everybody watching this right now, I can't tell you how many times we've been approached years later and they say, man, that moment, this X, Y, or Z moment that my son or my daughter was a part of, if you guys weren't there, we never would have it to look back on forever. And not only are we giving that present to them for the rest of their lives, but for generations and generations after. That is who YSN is. We're not about the dollars. We're about the moments. We're not about the egos. We're about the moments. We're about the kids, the coaches, and the communities. Pure and simple. Granted, we will make mistakes. We will fail forward, but we will pick ourselves up and we will be there for those moments that will live on forever. Let's get to some comments. Oh boy. Ty, I can't read really well. Got to represent Louisville basketball. Got to represent Louisville basketball against Akron St. V's a couple years ago in the regional finals, and the Leopards against Chardon baseball 2 years ago as well. Great memories and great people like my man, Tom Siegfried. Absolutely. Coach Siegfried's the man. His whole family is wonderful. I hope to see them around the YSN banner again one day. Wish them the best of luck. Well done, Tyler. Very well done. Important to ask, if a company is trying to compete with us, are they really doing it for the kids? That's a great question, Ty. It's a great question, and I've got an answer to, but we're not gonna show those cards because I know where you're going. Because there was a wink face in there. I'm pretty sure. No, there was a smug face. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's one of those things. Like, here's the trouble, and I think we don't have to hide in the bushes here. Everybody's after a buck. Everybody's after a dollar. How can we make it? How can we go after it? And as we're not a nonprofit, and there's nothing wrong with nonprofits, but we're not one, and we're not one for a reason because. I think nonprofits should be, foundations and charities and things of that nature. That's my personal belief. I think that being a for-profit business should not be looked down upon. But there's a way to be a for-profit business, but not be skeezy about it, not be stab everybody in the back. Like I think when we started, we were looked at in many ways like that because who are these guys? Never heard of them. Why are they trying to make a buck? All they're doing is taking people out of the stands. And we have data now after, again, this is year 7. We have data that what we do actually puts butts in seats. We get people excited about football games, volleyball games, soccer games, wrestling matches, baseball games, softball games, lacrosse matches. I mean, it goes on and on. We get people excited about Friday night by doing shows like this, by doing our predictions that are sure to go wrong, by talking about these kids. There's college coaches. I promise you, there's college coaches right now watching this show and listening for names and buzzwords and highlights and things of that nature, right? They're waiting for that because we've gone from being the new kid on the block to the golden standard of being that advocate for student athletes and coaches. That's what we've become. And those aren't my words. Those are others' words to us that people are telling other than me. That is what, and that is it's a very humbling experience, folks. It's a very humbling experience. But make no mistake, anything you do in life, there's going to be copycats out there and people that think they can do better than you. And that's fine. I welcome that. I'm the most competitive person in the world. You can ask anybody I know and anybody that knows me. But if you know me, you know that the growth that I've had over the last 7 years, sometimes you just got to let birds chirp. And sometimes you just got to let things go. Because in the words of a guy that I just got off the phone with, who I admire the hell out of, Rick Frida, you got to have 2 hands to clap. One hand makes no sound. And if people don't want to be partnered with us, we're not going to force them. Because going against the grain doesn't help anybody. Then you're just walking on eggshells. You're looking over your shoulder. It's not a good situation. We're not about that life anymore. We're about people that want to get better, get bigger, get stronger, and get faster with us. Whatever that looks like. If it looks like a business, I can tell you plain as day that there is no better advertising in this area than with us. It's a proven track record. You're getting more hits all the time with us for less money. Facts. If it's our coverage, you're not going to get better coverage than us. We are hiring within your communities to make sure that there is homerism, right? People are going to roll their eyes. Oh, here we go again. Listen, I'm telling you, you have guys like Ty Bartell that are Austin Fitch graduates, proud Austintown Fitch graduates that are looking for opportunities. When those opportunities are not provided or they are not received well, he will find a team. He's a great announcer. We will find a team for him that treats him like the king of broadcasting that he is. These people coming out to announce in your community are not doing it for 6-figure contracts. They're doing it because they love your community. They love broadcasting. That's why they do it. They're not doing it for the money either. My hand's in that pot too. If you're competing with us, you're not competing for the right reasons. And that's fine. We'll compete. You want to go? Listen, I've got 67 dudes that are ready to go. And some ladies too. I don't want to hold them. I know they're watching right now. Sorry. But we've got an army. We've got an army. And we'll go to war. But you better be ready for it if that's what you want to do. We don't want to compete against you. We compete against ourselves. We compete within the ranks, making things better, like all the good teams do, right? You'll face a good team on a Friday night, but that practice on Wednesday and Tuesday should have prepared you for a lot more of the banging that you're going to do, the clicking and clacking you're going to hear of those shoulder pads on Friday night. Iron sharpens iron. I believe that like wholeheartedly. Nobody is going to hold ourselves accountable or to a higher standard than we do ourselves. I can promise you that. Ty says, just wait till Friday. I'm excited. All right, it's time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, industrial, anything that makes it go zap. Head on over to DickeyElectric.com for more. And make sure you ask my good buddy Eric Carlson. Make sure you tell Eric Carlson, rather, where you heard this at. All right, so I'm going to soapbox this entire time. Thanks to Mike Ackelson for being on, by the way, as always. And from the sounds of it, he's going to jump on Thursday as well. That'll make for another great show for us. My only spark is looking out into the crowd of 300 plus people. 300 people last night in Boardman coming to see the Sparty Party, as we called it. Donnie Riccatelli coined that phrase. The Don Father, as always, coming up with a good one-liner. To see they show up for the kids was awesome. Talk to all the coaches, DJ Doda, the cheerleading coach, the track coach, the cross-country coaches, the tennis coaches, the soccer coaches, Jeff Hamilton, Marco Marinucci. Like, to see that was really cool. It was really neat to be able to identify that. And it was a really great night. We've got more of that tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight at Giangelo's in Boardman. I think that's Boardman. Is that considered Boardman? I think so. It's on 224 in the plaza right next to the Blue Wolf. So if you've never been to Giangelo's, tonight's the night to go. Dave Rock, the head coach of South Range, will be there for the South Range Raiders show, as well as Brady Crumbacher will be featured in tonight's show. And I'm being picked up. I'm being picked up by two of the best the guys I know. The Chris's are going to have the coverage. Chris Sigler will be interviewing Coach Rock, and Brady Crumbacher will be interviewed by the former South Range Raider and state champion, two-time state champion, Mr. Chris Colucci. I always want to call – there's another Chris that I always want to call him, and I don't want to say that on here. Excited for that. Excited for them breaking into the show business, so to speak. So thanks to that. Steve Leslie will be over at the Tigers table tonight, so make sure you get your seat early. That all kicks off at 7 o'clock with Sean Guerrero and some players there for the Tigers as well. Those two teams on a crash course for each other on Friday night. Well, why am I not going to be on the air tonight on YSN? Well, it's because I'm going to be with my friends over at WFMJ. We're doing the football roundtable as we do each and every year. Last year, Richie Giuliano filled in for me, and this year I'm back at the grind. Talking to Dana, Champ Summers, and Mr. McAfee about some opportunities that our young student athletes have in the upcoming football season. Excited for that. Tomorrow morning, I'll be on WFMJ Today with Steve Beasy. Excited for that. And then tomorrow evening, I'll be on WFMJ on the 21 Sports and talking about the actual matchup for Springfield and South Range and the excitement that is to come in the 2023 football season. That is going to do it. Scotty Mincher joins us for the first time live and in person here at Athletics tomorrow. Excited to see him. Excited even more so to see you again. We enjoy our time together, certainly each and every 60 minutes. Sorrell says, always remember you are the guy that has to lay your head down at night and say that I did the best that I can do. I love it. Thank you, Sorrell. Appreciate you. So pumped for high school football season. Don't forget to plug your preview show tonight on WFMJ. Hey, Gary, I did it, buddy. Great minds, Gary Russell. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for stopping by here today. We'll see you for another 60-minute love letter tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on your sports network. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation.